We're outside of this really cool restaurant in Toronto called Uncle Mikey's. And the chef Michael is formally trained in French food, and yet when he was gonna open his first restaurant about a year ago, he was like, I just wanna make stuff that I would cook for my friends at my house. So what's on the menu? Steak tartare, Parisian gnocchi covered with oxtail that's been cooked with doenjang. You're getting breakfast radishes that are covered with seaweed butter, or you're having thin cut French steak, but with Korean sam. It's everything that you would want to eat at your neighborhood spot. Very casual, it's very fun, and it's very approachable. You guys open here like it's almost a year anniversary.
Almost a year, yeah.
Yeah, and so how did you come up with this concept?
Yeah, I trained in classic French cooking and came back. I thought I would never be ready, so I might as well just open something. When I was coming up with the menu, I thought it would be more French. I just found that everything that came out just kind of organically, just naturally had more Korean tendencies to it. I was just looking for interesting flavors to add to it, but the only thing I could think of was gochujang and 깻잎 because that's what I like. I love that combination of spicy gochujang and 깻잎. Yeah. It's got cognac in it. It's got raw egg yolk, but it also has gochujang. And
I don't think anyone has ever used cognac and 깻잎 and gochujang together. Right. That's pretty awesome.
But, I would cook for friends just on occasion, and this is very much the style that I would cook for them.
I think that's badass. I think that's ultimately the best kind of cooking. You're just cooking for your buddies at home, and this just happens to be open to the public. I mean, it feels like I'm hanging out in like your attic or your loft. We're gonna start out with some radishes. This is super French. You just get basic radishes, and you dip them in butter with salt. And it's so simple. The kicker here is that Chef Mike is dusting, instead of just salt, he's dusting the butter with some like dried seaweed. And it's nice because it adds a different depth of flavor than just salt. And it's a nice, refreshing way to start the meal. Salt, fat, and crunch. The fundamentals of a tasty snack. It's that's what banchan is, if you think about it, right? You have all these crunchy, fresh things that really excite your palate and get you ready to have more. I know that it seems like these little pillows of awesomeness are Italian, and gnocchi is, but Parisian gnocchi is actually a French dish. I've never had this with chopsticks though. This is certainly a little strange. Parisian gnocchi it's funny because gnocchi is already a really humble dish and it's made with potato usually, but Parisian gnocchi instead is actually flour and eggs and just a ridiculous amount of Parmesan cheese. It's very cheesy. It's basically like eating poutine, but it's already put together. And so it's kind of perfect. Oxtail. Generally, I think with Parisian gnocchi, something that's a braised meat, a very stringy type of cut would totally work with it. And here it's fantastic. It's really, really good with the Parmesan. So comforting. It's just like kind of addictive. It's like you kind of want to keep eating it. But the underlying doenjang, right? So doenjang is a Korean fermented soybean paste. It is like the quintessential Korean flavor. It's basically, I think of miso, but a little more robust. It rounds out the flavors, right? It gives it a different depth of flavor. It sort of sweetens it almost too. Really good combination of Korean ideas and cuisine and just a classic French dish. Ooh, that's good. It's good sake. It's gonna be a nice complement to this beef tartare, steak tartare. Chef was saying that he was trying to make a version of steak tartare, which is a classic French dish, and yet he kept finding himself incorporating Korean flavors. It was just the way that he liked it, and I think that's what the essence of this restaurant is. It's dishes that if you went over to this guy's house, this is what you're gonna get. Yeah, you get the Korean julienne radish here as the foil. This is unmistakably a steak tartare. And what's different about UK is that you almost get these like longer strips of raw beef. And when you stir it all together, then it becomes kind of this almost like beef noodle pasta. But tartare is different. It's very chopped up. You want it to be hand chopped with a knife. This is cool. Like this is just very low-key like Parisian bistro type thing. Another thing I really like is something that you would never see in steak tartare. If you were to get some heat from it, like some spice, it would actually be from like maybe mustard. And this one, it's that Korean chili pepper. And that heat is pretty, it's a nice welcome change from a classic French version of steak tartare. I am into this. This is really good. I want to share this. Please, take a dab. Korean barbecue is always going to be the most recognizable Korean dish. And of course, if he's gonna put something like that on the menu and yet keep it grounded in this French theme, he's just gonna do steak. It's a lot of sesame oil. Let's take a nice piece of lettuce, nice piece of steak, gochujang. Just kind of building this like it's Korean barbecue. This looks like garlic. Oh yeah, that's garlic. All right, getting some pickled onions and some pickled daikon radish. I mean, I think that this in some way is like a very refined way of having the flavors of Korean barbecue. It's missing kimchi, right? It's raw garlic, it's spicy yuzu kosho, gochujang, and pickled onions. These are strong flavors. These are very aggressive. It's a fat piece of steak that's been grilled. It's ribeye. It's tender and it's got complexity in a way that, you know, even short rib. I mean, short rib is delicious and I love short rib, but it doesn't quite have the tenderness and the steakness of ribeye. I like that he's taking, you know, a French way of experiencing beef and literally wrapping it around Korean stuff. Throughout the show, I'm constantly going to restaurants where people may not, you know, people think that Korean food can only be this stew or this bowl of rice or this, like Korean barbecue can only take this form. And I think that cuisine can always expand and have new borders that it can cross. And this is very much food that is thoughtful and comes from a Korean chef and a Korean palate, but this is what Korean food looks like in Toronto. So I'm gonna finish eating all this, including the yuzu kosho and this awesome steak. Thank you so much for watching K-Town. And if you wanna see more of my food adventures, click right here.